Very much. 20 years ago, a local hospital executive found himself on the front lines of the 9/11 tragedy.
Jeff Flaks was working for the hospital closest to the World Trade Center at the time.
Channel 3 Waterbury Bureau Chief Dennis Valera is joining us right now to share more of his story. Dennis.
Mark and Aaron, before Jeff Flaks was the president and CEO, executive with the now closed St. Vincent's Hospital. That hospital was the epicenter for New York City's emergency response in this tragedy. That time truly changing him forever.
It just reminds me.
There's dozens of pictures up in Jeff Flaks' office, but this is the one that reminds him of how critical his job is.
The importance of what we do, of the respect for the people who were lost.
It's the outside of St. Vincent's emergency department. Flyers of the missing on the walls. Days before it was taken, on 9/11, Jeff was at the hospital in a meeting. That's when he heard a noise.
It wasn't tremendously loud, but it was unusual. And shortly thereafter, someone came into the boardroom and told us on our team, they said that a small commuter plane had hit the top of the Trade Center.
They all went outside and saw the second plane hit. From that point on, chaos.
To hear all the sirens and seeing police and fire going downtown, to see the plume getting louder and broader and more visible as the trade centers were on fire.
As St. Vincent's was the closest hospital, it became the main victims being taken there.
And in those early hours, we saw 300 plus patients, and then it became eerie, and you realized that there weren't more patients, there weren't more survivors.
Jeff says it was inspiring enough to see the work by frontline responders, but the volunteer response was overwhelming.
The crowd control we had to put in place just to manage the sheer number of people who wanted to help, people who were willing to do anything and everything that was necessary to help in that moment.
Now president and CEO of Hartford Healthcare, Jeff says 9/11 taught him they always have to be as prepared as they can be.
Those lessons that were learned through that experience carry forward today and are really critical and will help people, God forbid it's necessary.
Jeff says a big part of staying prepared is routinely doing drills. He says Hartford Healthcare also has a permanent emergency team and division that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Live in studio, Dennis Valera, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.